All right, so now we've got the puzzles that are in the south. The 3 goldens in the south. And here's the first one. And it's called, if I remember correctly, Pillars of Ascension. Let's see if that's right. Yes. So this one, it didn't take me very long, but I did play it in 2 parts. I tried to squeeze in like about 10 or 15 minutes before I had to do something, so then I had to just kind of leave it. And then when I came back, I was able to figure out what I needed to do. So I'm not sure if I would have been stuck for a long time, but I did get stuck for a little bit of time. This puzzle reminded me of the old parable about, like a fox and a chicken and a bag of wheat or something, and they're all trying to cross a river. I don't remember the exact thing. But that's kind of what this was about. You had to we're trying to get everything across, but certain things can only go with certain things. This was definitely new, the idea of a laser beam that would make a pressure plate inoperable. And then I think here, this is actually, I think, the last pillar where there's there's one more that's a little bit complicated, and then the one after that is actually kind of simple. But so I was a little in the beginning. It was kind of like, well, what do I do about the teleport beam? Because if I brought the teleport beam over without a fan blade, I couldn't get back. If I brought the fan blade over without the teleport beam, I could get back, but I wasn't really making any forward progress. And the solution, the tricky move, what I consider to be sort of the signature tricky move for this level, was that you had to see, the trouble was, how do you get the teleporter over? If you carry it over, then, like I said before, it doesn't really help you, because it's really the fans that you need to get over to continue to get over. Anyway, hard to describe exactly what the challenge was, but the solution, which I'm going to figure out here in a couple minutes, is to put the teleporter on top of the block and then sort of kick them over together. See, here I realized that you could kick the block over. Actually, I think that was kind of just an accident, but that was going to be a precursor to what I would do later. I think this might be the point where I'm just kind of standing around feeling like I'm a little bit stuck, not quite knowing what to do. I'm thinking about it now, and I'm wondering if there could have been a variation of this where you put a fan blade on top of the block and send those over together. I'm not sure if a variation of that could have worked, but definitely putting the teleporter on top of the block and sending it over was the thing that did it for me. And it was interesting because I think the very next puzzle after this is the one that involves putting a gravity beam on top of a block and getting it to behave in a way that it doesn't normally behave, because it's on top of the block. And that has sort of been a long-standing theme of this game, is that, the connectors won't fly in the air, fans won't fly in the air, platforms won't fly in the air. Like, you can't shoot those things with fans. unless they're on top of blocks. And that's been a long-standing rule in this game. And then, I guess, as we discover in the next puzzle, I guess the gravity beams kind of operate similar to the blocks. The same rules that apply to the blocks apply to the gravity beam. So here I am. I'm just doing all sorts of stuff right now and like not getting it. And I think it's because, again, right, it's because I kept trying to take the teleporter with me. But that doesn't help you because you're trying to use the teleporter to teleport. So you don't want to take the teleporter, you don't want to hold the teleporter and jump across. You need to send it across on its own and then teleport to it. And you can't do that without putting it on the block. Now at this point though, I don't even think I was even far enough ahead to even realize that. I just kept taking it in my hands and then thinking that I could get back somehow and then warp to it. But no, you can't get back because you need a fan blade and you don't have one because they're all working. The fan blades are back on the other platform. One of them is holding down the fan and one of them is blowing. So here I'm just staring at the screen because I'm totally confused. And then it cuts out. Now this is me coming back after having taken the kids to school. I didn't exactly think about it while I was gone, but I think it was kind of a version of the whole fresh eyes thing. And I don't think it's going to take me very long to realize what I have to do here. Let's watch. Let's see what I do. Like, I know I need to get fans set up. Yes, obviously. I think I had a sense that, like, that block... I think my initial thought was that I need to bring the block back to this platform. But I think it wasn't because I was going to use it to push over the thing. I think I just thought I was going to use it to, like, hold down the pressure plate, even though there was the laser. I thought I was going to get around that somehow. And then I think maybe it's even right here that it just kind of dawned on me. Maybe right there because it's... Yeah, see, I think I just kind of walked past it and I saw the way it was resting on it. And then I thought, hey, wait a minute, let's try that. There you go. And now I have... Yeah, and right, and then you can go back and warp again. So now I have everything that I need. And it's just a matter of doing this. And I was expecting there to be like another challenge at this next pillar. But there really wasn't one. I think I was assuming that you have to continue to take the teleporter, that you can't just leave it here. But in fact, you can just leave it here because you're not going to need it again. Shoot the block over, shoot yourself over, and then there it is. It's very simple. Just put the block on and there you go. Maybe that was supposed to be tricky there too, but I think I just tried the right thing right away. So there we go. I really liked this puzzle. It was very different from the other puzzles. I like the outside environment. And it just seemed pretty cool. And then this is me trying to get back. I probably could have just jumped off into the water, but I didn't know if it was going to drown, if I was going to drown or what. All right, so now this one I have to admit was, I had a spoiler for this one, which was that, you know, a while ago, my brother said something to me about moving a gravity beam on a box and doing that to move the gravity beam. And at the time that he said that, I had not done this puzzle, and I also had not done any puzzle that involved exactly doing that. So, you know, it was always just kind of something in the back of my head, like I just kind of knew that there would come a day when I needed to move a gravity beam by putting it on a box. And so it didn't take me too long to realize that this is that puzzle. Now, I'd like to think that I would have figured that out on my own. And the way that I like to think that is that I would have concluded that you have to get the gravity beam on this side of the purple wall. Because the gravity beam is necessary. You need to get it to the other side so that you can aim it at the ceiling over there. Although now that I think about it, maybe you could possibly try to hit that ceiling even from this side. It would have been at quite an angle, but you could have possibly done it. But I feel like if it had occurred to me that I have to get the gravity beam to the other side of the purple wall, I think I would have figured out, pretty well. I mean, I would have tried different things until I had gotten it to work, because there's not that many possibilities for how to do that. But anyway, there you go. Oh, it didn't work? Why didn't it work? I must not have set it up right. I mean, there's not a lot of red herrings in terms of how you can get the gravity beam over there. So I think it would have been just a matter of time of trying. And also, this block didn't have much other use. I don't know what other use this block has, except to be a tradable item, perhaps. So I think it probably would occur to me like, what does this block do? I must do something with this block. I think I would have thought of all these things, but of course I don't know for sure. Now this last part, I actually thought this was kind of tricky too, but it was definitely not new. And by it, well, what am I trying to do right now? Oh, I'm trying to figure out how to get the block back over there, yeah. So, right, so this part you have to make some connections. And if you go up here, right, if you go up the stairs, you can make the right connections. And you open the door, but you also close the door. So, see, right, you have to get on the other side of that door. But the thing about this that's not new, I think there was a blue triangle puzzle not too long ago where you set up a connector, you made the right connections, but it was out of place. And then you used the magnet gun to pull it from one side of the arena to the other side, and when it got to the other side, it would be in the right place for the connections to line up. And that was only a short while ago that I did something like that, so it didn't take that long for me to realize that was the idea here. So we get the beam, or we get the thing, we make sure it's connected. I actually had a little bit of trouble just getting over there. There we go. Get it where it needs to be. Right. Then go stand behind the wall. And then shoot the gravity beam to pull it in. And there you go. So yeah, I'd like to think that I would have been able to do this one without too much trouble, but I'll never know for sure. I do think it's cool that they introduced a new thing. Some of these puzzles have new things, and some of them don't. And of course, there's not that many new things left to do, but it's cool when they can think of one. And then there's the next puzzle, which is the thrusting vector. Thrusting vector, I thought, was a really cool puzzle. I thought the solution, thrust vector, sorry. I thought the solution was really cool, and I really like this arena, this big, empty kind of tomb-looking place. And I like that it's kind of just a pure laser puzzle. There's not I don't think there's any other things to use, and it's just regular boring connectors. So first I just take a look around. It took me a while to kind of figure out what is the point of this place. I didn't see all that stuff up there, and I said, oh, okay, there's a bunch of stuff up there. So this one also didn't take me too long, but the thing is, I think for me, the reason why I didn't have too much trouble with this puzzle was because it was actually kind of similar to a puzzle that I played in Road to Gehenna, the DLC to Talos 1, which I just played a couple of days ago, basically, weeks ago maybe. And what the Road to Gehenna puzzle introduced to me the concept of taking a single connector and having it set up to make a series of red connections, but also a series of blue connections, and then doing something to move it so that it switches from red to blue. Road to Gehenna had that. And in that one, it was the moving mechanism was totally different, but it was kind of the same idea. And so after I set up a few of these connecting beams, I realized that with only 2 connectors and with red and blue connections to make, it was going to be impossible to for like one thing to do all the red connections and one thing to do all the blue connections. So pretty quickly it occurred to me, this is probably one of these ones where one of these connectors has to do both sets of connections. And the thrusting thing down there, I think I got the idea that this was going to be like that because of what it's doing right now. The way I had it set up so that it was sort of moving in and out like that, that constant motion made me think of the thing in the Road to Gehenna that moves back and forth, and you use it to basically cut off the red line, the red beam, to let the blue beam take over. And so my first idea was, I didn't realize right away that you needed to get it to sort of drop off like that. My first idea was that you could set it up so that when the thing comes out, it cuts off the red beam to reveal the blue beam behind it. I think that was my first idea. So I'm going to try to do that here. So I think I'm going to take this and I'm probably going to make a bunch of blue connections now. Or no. Still looking at it. And it didn't occur to me that you had to have that thing like down there on the ground yet, because I think you can actually make a blue connection just keeping it up here. Yeah, so that's not quite making it, but I thought maybe it would make it. So that's not working. And then I just sort of tried this for some reason, but that's not working. They're all red. I can't get the blue. That one I got it coming back and forth, but it's not revealing any blue. And then I think it just occurred to me, you know, that it would push it off. And then it would be standing right in front of the blue, which is where I need it to be. I think I did like a trial first, just to see if it would push it off, if that's even what would happen, or if when it got pushed off, if it would maintain its connections, or if it would fall on the side and disconnect. I didn't really quite know. Excuse me. So this was kind of like the test, just to see what would happen. And then once I saw that it fell and maintained the connections, then I knew that this was what you had to do. And I guess this one technically was kind of timed. You know, you had to, from when you set it going. Yeah, there we go. That's the test run. Oh, but I knew that if you did it that way, right? I looked up and I saw that if you did it that way, you would still be blocked by one of the red doors. So what you needed to do was put it in position, but don't get it moving yet. And then you have to use that second beam up there, or that second connector up there, to be the one that starts everything. So get it set up, and then leave it. And then go up here. Get it moving, and then you have to run right away, or you'll get locked behind the door. There you go. So pretty cool. So that's the end of the 3 south ones. I actually had an easier time on these 3 than the last 2 groups. And I can already tell you that the ones in the west have been challenging. I've been playing them so far, and they've been pretty tough. So I'll be back with a report on those in not too long.